One. Hey everyone, welcome to the Game On Daily stream. I'm joined today by my lovely host, Asa Walker. So,
Yeah. Hi, thanks for that. I am quite lovely.
Hi.
and I'm joined by Wiley with a Dave Chappelle icon. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. How you doing? Pleasure to be here.
Thank you for joining us one more time again. So, today is the first of many streams, hopefully. You've seen us live stream before, but we're trying to get a regular kind of Saturday stream. Every Saturday, 8 p.m. We're a little bit late today, but we'll be on time, promise, from next week. So we're going to talk about various topics because we are from Game On Daily, and Game On Daily is a news aggregation platform pooling in content from all over the world, allowing you guys, the users, to do the same. Create your own content and put it on site and let the world see your content. So what we are going to do today is talk about all the latest topics, or the hottest topics this week. And there's a lot to talk about this week because a lot of stuff has happened in gaming today. So without further ado, let's go into our first topic. Hopefully later on we get to play some video games as well. But bear with us. It's our first stream and hopefully we can keep you entertained. Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us and leave a comment if there's anything you want to discuss. Do let us know. It's not set in stone, so this is going to be an interaction between us and you. For the first topic of the day, and it has to be this, The Last of Us 2 just came out yesterday. Many people are probably already busy playing it, and some people have already completed it. And I just wanted to, before I talk about the game itself and the general reception of it, wanted to hear from Asa and Wiley about what they think about The Last of Us and whether they're looking forward to playing it. Asa, you're not a massive Last of Us fan, am I correct?
Oh, you're gonna get me in hot water saying things like that. Yeah, the first Last of Us game, I enjoyed it when I eventually played through it, but my first attempt on the PlayStation 3 didn't go so well. I've never been a big fan of stealth games, and as soon as I hit the stealth sections of that game, I just threw a tantrum and stopped playing. Revisited it on the PlayStation 4, persevered a little longer and did finish it, so can appreciate the quality of the game. And now we've got a sequel.
Yeah, so Sammy, have you, because
Yeah, go on.
you played The Last of Us? I think I lent you my PlayStation and you played it, right? If I remember correctly.
I didn't play it. I did something else with your PlayStation instead. I can't remember exactly what it was. I think I just watched porn on the big screen.
Yeah.
Instead. But it's been on my to-do list to watch. To do.
Wait, you're telling me I gave you my PlayStation to play The Last of Us and you didn't even do that?
No, well,
You explicitly asked to borrow my PlayStation to play The Last of Us, and you didn't play it. You're telling me, and I find this out at the end of this generation. I don't know what you did with that PlayStation. Clearly, I need to wash my hands.
yeah.
But do you know anything about The Last of Us? So surely you borrowed my PlayStation on the pretense, which was a lie.
I mean, I watched Sham play it. Sham, as my brother, by the way, he played it. He seemed like he got really into it. And it's been on my to-do list for ages. I kind of want to. I mean, I knew it's such a great game. I wanted to give it the due care and attention it deserved. I just not had the chance to do it. But now that Last of Us Part 2 is out, it's renewed my interest in playing the first one. I just need to find time where I could actually play it. But that's why spoilers are even more important for me to avoid right now, because I really don't want to hear this.
See, that's a very good point.
Yeah.
And this is what I keep saying to people, that you need to play the game soon, because the internet is infested with people who are spoiling the game. Now, the critical reception for the game was incredible. It's like sitting on 95 on Metacritic. It's like one of the highest rated games of this generation. So critically, it was just lauded by everyone. Everyone loved it. Fan reception, I think, without offering spoilers, because I don't know. I haven't played
the first one and the second one.
This is the second game. The first game was critically acclaimed anyway. It was ridiculous. And when we Game On Daily, when it was
So guys, can you hear feedback from my mic.
Nope.
You speaking? No.
No, absolutely fine. It's clear.
All right. Because all right.
So what I'm saying was the last game, The Last of Us, was one of the most critically acclaimed games ever, and it's hit the game of the generation list of many publications. The second game is critically, I think it's probably done even better than the first game, but there seems to be a disconnect between what reviews are saying and what fans are saying. I think, without offering any spoilers, because I don't actually know, I haven't played the game yet. I'm going to try and, this is the kind of game I'm going to sink in, become a hermit, and play. I just dropped my mic. Play in one sitting. So but what I'm hearing is that they're just not happy with the plot. Everything else is amazing. So I'll make up my own mind, but I'm hearing two camps. Even some of the most hardened, like people who are critical of The Last of Us, the first one, have come back and said to me it's amazing. Like so it's really a game where you make up your own mind. If you are listening to the noise on the internet, it can be a bit of an echo chamber and it gets lost in negativity. Make up your own mind, play it yourself. What gameplay I have seen, it looks stunning. So The Last of Us came out yesterday. Big game. I haven't played it yet.
How long was it in the making?
It's been several years in the making. I think it was something like four years in the making, and it got. Well, I think it might be even more, like 4 or 5 years, but it's 4 years because they worked on other games like Uncharted, which was also critically acclaimed. But the fact is, it got leaked, so the plot got leaked, and that's where and it's a real shame. I mean, irrespective of what side you feel on, you feel cheated by the plot for whatever reason. They worked so hard on the game, and after 5 years of working on it, and someone leaks it, the plot, it's just so harsh on the people who worked so hard on the game. So
the thing is, the people that are really going to play it, they wouldn't have gone looking for the plot to be leaked. So, I mean, like, they'd actively avoid spoilers.
It's so easy to spoil, though. It's so easy to spoil. You know, it's one of those like really easy spoilers, and I've had it spoiled for me. This is why I'm reluctant to tell you what. Yeah. Oh yeah. This is why I'm saying don't go on the YouTube comments.
Who did that?
Some random on the internet. When day one it got leaked, it couldn't. It's so
fucking up.
This is what I was talking to Safe, and I said, look, don't like go on the internet. It's just ignore the internet or play the game. So The Last of Us came out, massively well-reviewed game. Make up your own mind for it. It's come out as of yesterday, so that's it. The Last of Us is a game that everyone's been waiting for. It's going to be the swan song of this generation for a lot of gamers, and it's a really good way to wrap up your generation. If you're Sony, they've shown that they've routinely had the best exclusives, and then they're just wrapping up this year, and then they still have Ghost of Tsushima coming out next month. So yeah, a great year for Sony. So that was The Last of Us. Whilst The Last of Us just had released yesterday, bad news about what may be its biggest contender for the game of the year. Any guesses on what that game is, guys? Please tell me.
Cyberpunk.
A little hint, it's running in the background of the stream at the moment.
Oh wow, okay. So Cyberpunk, and the fact that Sammy said it straight away goes to show that it is big, because if Sammy knows and Sammy is in his own planet, then Cyberpunk got delayed. Cyberpunk was supposed to come out in September, and now it's coming out in November. And to be honest, I'm actually a bit happy about it, because I thought I really want to play this game on next-gen hardware. So I want to play this on the most powerful console, the Xbox Series X. I don't want an uncompromised experience.
You got to play on PC anyway, weren't you?
Oh, so yeah. So this is the thing. I bought a new gaming PC just for Cyberpunk, because I did not want to lose the opportunity to do that. No, that was the principal motivation for me behind buying the PC. Also for like all the editing, but it was Cyberpunk. Cyberpunk is a game that I've been waiting for ages. It's my kind of game, first-person shooter, RPG, Cyberpunk future setting. That's like the dream. It's like Blade Runner on crack. And this massive game coming from an incredible studio that have really proven their worth with the Witcher series. A game so deep.
Has it got ray tracing?
Asa, does it have ray tracing?
Cyberpunk, certainly not on the old consoles. On the new ones, I should think it will, and it does on the PC, yes.
So yeah, well, that would be Yeah, so if it does have ray tracing on the new console, that's actually a very good question. That was a very good question, actually. In fact, I've never thought about that with Cyberpunk, because Cyberpunk is just so...
I kind of feel like if it comes out now, it has to have ray tracing.
That's a very good point. And ray tracing has been on in the front lines, like in the news recently with PlayStation. They did their reveal. You hopefully have seen our YouTube video. If you haven't, check it out. We summarize what the PlayStation 5 reveal event was like and what the highlights of the show were. And one of the big highlights were the games that were sporting ray tracing, so hardware ray tracing or whatever form of ray tracing. If you don't know what ray tracing is and you're wondering what the hell we are talking about, it's really the way that games do realistic reflections in real time. And up until now, games haven't been able to do that because it's been so technically demanding.
Oh, guys, you're so technical.
But I'm. This is layman terms, not to pretend that I know the technicalities, man. But let's just pretend that I know what I'm talking about. So, but basically, that's a very. Asa, actually, you explain that because it's more than reflection, isn't it?
It is more than reflections. Yeah, it's a more natural way of lighting a scene. So I'm also not massively technical on it. I was mocking Gaz because it's funny. Hi, River Green. People watching the stream, we are streaming on multiple channels at the moment, keeping an eye on the chat that just come in. We had a couple of people say hi, so hi to those out there. Yeah, anything anyone's watching, anything you want us to talk about, drop a message in the chat, we'll pick it up. How are we? I'm going to speak for myself. I'm great, thanks. These other two, I'm not so sure. I'll let them answer in a second. But yeah, ray tracing, so...
I'm good, but I can't, where's the
I'll
chat?
let them answer right now.
So ray tracing. You were explaining what ray tracing was, and you just stopped.
Ray tracing. So yeah, it's a much more realistic way of tracing light through a scene. So like Gaz said, it means you can reflect things much more accurately. You can reflect things that aren't ordinarily rendered on the screen. So things that are up in the background can be reflected. You get much more natural reflections, but also it's also lighting and shadows just as much. So much more natural lighting to a scene, particularly around where you've had tricks like ambient occlusion and things in the past to make things look softer and more natural. You get a much more realistic look to that now with ray tracing, which is NVIDIA have been doing it for a while on the PC. Still finding their feet a little in terms of performance and things like that, but it's a big deal for all the hardware going forwards, consoles and PC. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of it.
I can't wait for that, and I hope Cyberpunk has it. That's a very good point, Sam. And very rarely do you make good points.
Well, I think
Cyberpunk...
I noticed there's probably a setting that's on and off, right? Because even Apex has ray tracing on it.
No, it doesn't.
What? No, it doesn't. I had to think there for a second. I'm like, wait, what?
Oh no, what is it? Modern Warfare has ray tracing, does it?
Modern Warfare does, yeah. It can be. Some games will have it as a simple toggle, so they'll have a very predefined set of ray tracing that you can have on there. Some of them will have a low, medium, high kind of preset on there. As these go forwards, particularly on the PC side of things, and you get different people experimenting with different kinds of ray tracing, those options might open up and expand a little bit. So maybe you'll have an option on whether you're going for ray tracing on your reflections or just your shadows or whatever else. It might get a bit more granular over time, but for now it's pretty much toggle, perhaps some presets.
I mean, I felt like I could tell the difference.
I would be lying if I said I could. So what I did, and I don't know if this is what actually works or if I'm an idiot for even trying to do this, I took a print screen of the ray trace setting on, because me and you have got an RTX card, so that enables ray tracing on our PCs. And then I turned it off. But wait, what's the other? It doesn't enable
the error noise. No. So the noise that I make there is the tricks that you get around lighting, the fakery that you get in a typical scene is probably quite good in a screenshot. It'll be much more apparent in motion. But I like your method. Carry on.
Oh, well, you won't like my method because then I pasted the picture onto Microsoft Paint to see the difference. And I was straining to see it. But that I'm an idiot, because then later on, as I played it, I was just noticing, oh, this game looks stunning. Sorry, the game that actually really made me really floored me when I actually realized how good it was Control. Control is an excellent game, by the way. If you don't know what Control is, Sammy, you don't know what Control is. Yeah, I knew you were going to say. I knew you were going to ask that. Control is a game made by the guys Remedy, who made I think Max Payne. They made Alan Wake. I don't know if you know. Alan Wake was a big Xbox 360 game. It's basically like X-Files. It's really good. It's such a good game, man. You've got an RTX card. You should play it. It's insane, the amount of detail. Like what are those things called? The little marble physics bit things you have in your desk. You hit one and it just starts hitting the other marbles. What are they called? Like tick 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 tick. Making the sound.
Right. The Newton's something.
Yes, well done for inviting him. Quick interrupt, just because we have a question on there that you might know the answer to, guys, about a Discord server. Do we use Discord? We use Discord for the stream. We've got a chat going at the moment, but does the GameOnDaily have a public Discord that we invite people to join?
Yes, we do. We do have the Discord. In fact, we're chatting on that now, but I know that's for live cast, but we've got welcome to join if you guys are. Asa, if I send you the link, you're able to share it with our chat.
Yes, I can do that.
Okay, I'll send it to you. You're an admin of it as well, so you should be able to. But I know you're multitasking, holding the fort down here. So let me try and find this URL link. And yeah, you're free to join and share your content. Obviously, you can create content on our website, but also if you create the content on our website, you want more people to see it, go on Discord, share it, or whatever. Just talk about games. Free to do so. So yeah, the very long way of answering your question. We do have a Discord. Going back to what I was talking about, yeah. So that Newton's thing. Do you know what that is? Whatever that thing is, basically I was playing Control and I was trying to test out how sick the reflection, ray tracing is in this game, and it's insane, man. I could see everything being reflected on those little balls. Who doesn't want to see the reflection of balls? No, or the coffee maker, the little with the coffee pot. And the game's got a photo mode. Switch to photo mode and try and see the reflections on the most tiniest detail, and it was doing it without fail, and it was crazy. Kills your frame rate, massively drains the performance of your system. But
what frames are you getting?
I was getting about 30 to 40. I was getting 30 to 40, and it was pretty smooth considering, because we're spoiled by 30 on consoles. On PC, I know we go up to 144 hertz, but even at 30 to 40, it was just amazing, because with Control there's an abundance of particle effects going everywhere, and shit flying everywhere, people so many enemies, and on top of that you've got amazing shadows, lighting, and ray tracing. It looks next gen. That's my first next gen game I played.
Okay, so my next question is going to be, is that free on the house?
No, it's not free on the house. You have to pay for it. Yeah, so it's not, and it shouldn't be free. It's such a good game, man. You need to play it. And it's really deep. It's like X-Files is the best way I could explain it. It's really very different. Quantum Break came out. It's the same people who made Quantum Break. Quantum Break wasn't all that great, but the tech was great. This one is such a good game, and I can't wait to complete that. That's the only game that's stopping me from completing The Last of Us 2 and the Red Dead Redemption.
Speaking of Control being next gen game, like you said there, I don't know if you noticed, but it has been confirmed for Series X and PlayStation 5 as well. So any console players out there looking to look at their reflection in the balls, you can.
You heard it here first. Yeah, and it really does work. It's such a good game. I can't do it justice by explaining it. Check out the trailer for Control, but playing it is a very different beast to what even the trailers look like.
The chat link that you sent me, there's nothing on it.
If you join later on, then you'll see some more you may not have seen some comments, because right now we've got Rivergrain82886 commenting. I'll be intrigued to know the history behind it.
It doesn't load.
We'll sort that out. I'll let you know. We can field the questions up to you so you know what they're asking. So we've talked about Control, which is a nice diversion from what we were going to talk about, but basically it's next-gen tech, and it came about from your conversation about Cyberpunk is supporting ray tracing. It's going to be amazing. Speaking of next-gen, the PlayStation 5 and console has been revealed. Great reveal, but what I want to talk about is the console itself and the size of the console, and just how damn big this thing is. This thing is huge.
You think that's a legit photo?
It is a legit photo, man. It has to be a legit photo. Come on, man. Wait, you didn't even need to look at that photo anyway. So I don't know if Ace is going to pull that up on screen. Bless him.
It's not the easiest thing to see, I don't think. But
you're a magician. I don't know how you managed to do all of that, but if it's on screen, you guys can see it's three guys holding a PlayStation. That PlayStation, Sammy, is at least 3/4 your size. Okay, that's the fail.
Yeah. Just like that man's old baby, basically.
That's a fat baby. If that's a baby, man. His torso is what he's holding.
It could be quite slim. So.
It's not. So it's not that slim, and it's really quite tall. So as soon as it got revealed, people started making memes about it. But the size of it is huge, massive. Yeah. It's the largest console ever made.
Do we know how big the Xbox is?
Yeah, so we've got a comparison picture. I don't know. Again, I might be asking a bit too much.
That's
here.
what you want to see, right?
Yeah, and I think I've shared that before, but I'll send it to you again.
That's also on screen at the moment for people that are watching the stream. I know you can't see that for fear of feedback, but yeah, the comparison chart is up there showing the Xbox standing a lot shorter and stubbier, wider, but not nearly as tall.
Yeah,
it's a big console itself. Sorry, go on.
On WhatsApp that got sent.
Yeah. That's the picture. The one I sent around, and they've measured the size by looking at the disk tray and obviously USB drive. So it's pretty accurate, man. Because every time this happens, people always tend to do the mock-ups, and they did that with the Xbox Series X before people got hands-on with it, and they were pretty accurate. The Xbox actually isn't that tall. It's actually smaller than the Xbox One that I have right now. I don't have a One X, which is criminal, I know, but I've got a gaming PC. It's shorter than the PlayStation 3, and it's on par with the X1X. Anyway, it's not that tall, but in terms of volume, it's quite wide, and that's where the perception comes in. That's huge. But if you think that's huge, you're going to be in for a shock. Make sure you have some space for your PlayStation 5 in your room, because that thing yeah, it's huge, and its design dominates everything. So, I personally don't like the look of it. I know, I just, maybe in the flesh, I might warm up to it. But then again, it depends on your living room setup. So that's the PlayStation 5. I thought it was really interesting to see the size of it. I thought that was something special. Speaking of new consoles, though, the PlayStation 5, as great as it is, we've also hearing rumors of another console coming out, and it's not the KFC machine that was doing the rounds.
What?
Yeah, it's okay. Kentucky Fried Chicken. They did like this troll little marketing thing. They said we're releasing a new console as well, but it's not. It was just weird marketing, but it worked because we're talking about it. But I didn't buy any KFC. The console I'm talking about, and the console that is pretty much confirmed that people know it's coming out. Well, you might not know about this, Wiley, but it's the Xbox Series S. Have you heard about that?
No.
So, and it's quite a big thing that a lot of people don't know about, but people in the game, who follow it quite closely, know it's like the worst kept secret in there. The clue is in the name, Xbox Series X. So this is the Series S. The idea is that this is a weaker console. It's like a 4 teraflop console. Supposedly, we don't know exact specs, but it exists. But the main point is this console exists because the idea is that it will run on lower resolutions, but it will still have that next gen CPU, the Ryzen CPU, and it will run games. It's for people who don't want to obviously have a 4K TV. You want to run your games at 4K. You better Xbox Series X. But you have another room, or it's for entry level for people who want to not break the bank this holiday season, but still want to get a next gen console. They'll get the Series S. I think Ace has put that up on screen. They're just mock-ups, so they're really like a dinky version of the Xbox Xbox Series X has been mocked up, but it's a smaller version. It runs. Presumably it'll run the same frame rate as Xbox Series X, but lower resolution, so 1080p. And you know what? If that exists, that's crazy. The principal reason why it exists is because of price. Yeah. Xbox and PlayStation are going loggerheads right now, playing a game of chicken trying to beat each other on price, because price is so fundamental to who not wins the general, the odds are stacked up against Xbox, but who dominates or who does well this generation. And that's why there are two PlayStation 5. So if you don't know, there's a digital version and a one with a CD tray or whatever. So the discless version will be cheaper of the PlayStation 5. And if the Xbox Series S exists in the form that many people have been espousing for months upon months, then this will be a significantly cheaper console, weaker, but still next gen enough, courtesy of its CPU, that it's been designed to create a pincer movement against the PlayStation in terms of price. And we are going to find out about it. I'm very sure if this doesn't come out, I will be shocked. There's no way it's not coming out. The name, clues in the name, Series S, and it will be revealed in July. Mark my words, Xbox are going to have their big event next month where they finally showcase their games, and this is going to be the thing that will show up.
Do you reckon the Series S is less or more powerful than the PlayStation still?
No, this will be less powerful than the PlayStation 5, because the idea behind this is whilst it has a great CPU, it's designed not for the resolution, so it'll take a hit on resolution, but in terms of game performance and targeting frame rates, it'll still be there hitting 60, presumably. This is all conjecture. Officially, this thing doesn't exist, but we know it exists.
And you reckon it won't sacrifice the CD slot?
So good point. Very good point. There are rumors and conjecture suggesting that this will be diskless as well. So to save on costs and perhaps on size, it'll be diskless. And I think it'll be fundamental to a console like this to forsake its disc. And speaking of price, there are rumors suggesting, and they're supposed to be credible, but everyone's inside and out, but apparently it's going to be half the size of the price of the Xbox Series X. If that is the case, that's insane. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. I have some doubts on that, but I don't even know what the price is. The pricing.
I heard about these new consoles when they release, they make a loss.
Yeah. So you're right. Fundamentally, they make a loss. Question is, how much of a loss can these guys afford to make? Yeah. And this is the thing. Sony, and according to rumors in a Bloomberg article that went out, and actually kind of makes sense when you look at the console itself. The Sony have gone up for a console that's running boosted, and it's running quite fast, and it might be running quite hot. The reason why the console is so big is because it's got a cooling system that is ginormous. The thing has fans all across all across its console.
All across the world. Yeah.
All across the world. Yeah. PlayStation's domination across all nations. Electricity bills will be the source of decimation of the human race. But that is why it's so big. It might be, and they might be hindered in their ability to price this as competitively as they want, which is why the digital-only edition exists, and they really are waiting to see the price reveal. Sony are waiting. They will delay it for as long as possible, and the same goes for Microsoft. They want to delay it, and they want to undercut the price. And the popular...
See, that's interesting that you say that that'll make it expensive, because I would say the cooling, no matter how many fans they've got, is going to be cheaper than the extra silicon that you've got in the Series X. It's running so hot as a way to save money, because that hardware is a lot cheaper.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
It depends on what the cooling system is, though. Do you think that no matter how... I'm not saying it's like liquid cooled or anything like that, but what Mike Cerny did say, Mark Cerny, I keep saying Mike Cerny, and Mark Cerny did say was that he'd be really proud and really interested in showcasing the cooling tech. He said this in the GDC, and since then we have nothing about the cooling tech.
I can tell you, I'm fairly certain that the tech will be effective, but it will be cheap. Because if it wasn't going to be cheap, then they would have gone for the larger silicon running cooler, like the Xbox can have.
That would be interesting. I think, okay, if it's like a vapor chamber thing, that's fine. That's a good point then. That means, irrespective of what cost they are fronting on the cooling system, then they're better positioned to try and compete on price.
Well, you say that doesn't consider the solid state drive that they've got, which is not cheap, and the assembly around it is not cheap. So they've put their cost in a different area, but nobody really knows how big a hit that is for them.
So okay, well that's interesting. So Sammy, I don't know if you know, obviously Xbox Series X is more powerful than the PlayStation 5 in the CPU, RAM, GPU, and all those areas. But the fundamental area that's not powerful and a lot of noise has been made about is its hard drive, the SSD. And you might be thinking, oh, so you know about it. You know, a lot of people are saying the SSD because now the SSD allows us to load games quickly and offload textures and stuff on there. So it's probably possibly bridging the gap, but that's silly because
is it almost as fast as RAM then? The SSD is it?
I'll let Ace ask this question because he's the man who knows this stuff.
Are we talking about the Xbox or the PlayStation? In both cases, no, it's not as fast as RAM, but it is fast enough to be used in quite new and exciting ways. It's interesting that Gaz says there that the Xbox Series X hard drive is weak. It's actually a really good hard drive, and the technology around it is really impressive as well. Their problem is that Sony have doubled it in speed.
Doubled it? Whoa.
Doubled it in speed, yeah. How much of a difference that's going to make in real-world application, time's going to tell.
Yeah, so that's the thing. In order for it to make a significant difference, fundamentally game design would have to change.
Yeah.
And the SSDs enable you to do that. Developers have said that. But the thing is, they still have to cater for the lowest common denominator, and that's like PC hard drives.
In my mind, it's probably acting like a substitute for RAM. Getting around
it
RAM
can. So particularly the way that they've described the PlayStation hard drive, and Xbox have said it's capable of it as well. They do exactly that. They do compensate for RAM, so it's not directly equivalent. You can't access the hard drive as fast as you can RAM in terms of milliseconds to read data, but you can read it fast enough, and you can switch textures in and out fast enough that it effectively expands the amount of RAM available. And that's an interesting point on the PC as well. It's one thing that PCs do have over consoles, and probably always will have, is they typically have a lot more RAM. So even when you're talking about designing next-gen games, PCs are probably going to have their ways to keep up.
Yeah, that's true. Those drives come out as well, and NVMe drives are more and more common. I've got one now, but if they, the PC space is not static like consoles, so yeah, they will catch up. Question is of when. There has to be a transition period. You don't expect it to be immediate. See it a few years time, and developers get more custom with the SSD and how to utilize it. Then it will become the norm. Certainly mid to late next gen, I imagine. So that's the SSD. Very exciting stuff and very exciting tech, and really is going to be very interesting. Ratchet and Clank. Like if you haven't seen our video on YouTube, we did a rundown of the PlayStation event, and Ratchet and Clank is a really good example.
Sorry guys, sorry. I'm gonna bounce. I'll be back a bit later if you guys are still on. I don't know how long you're gonna be on for, but
feel free to join us whenever you're back.
Yeah, cool. All right, I'll let you know. But yeah, peace out. Have a good stream.
All right, cheers for coming along.
See you guys later.
Thanks. See you soon, man. So that's the PlayStation. That's the SSDs in general. Now we talked about the Xbox Series X and the price of it and the size of consoles. We've also this week we had the EA live show, the streamed show, and some good things came out of that. Some very good things. First of all, I want to talk about Star Wars Squadrons, and we're going to have a video out on Star Wars Squadrons as well, showing you why you need to be excited for this game. If you haven't seen the trailer, you need to check it out. But Star Wars Squadrons, if you don't know, is a first-person space combat game, and it looks phenomenal. It came out of nowhere. It got leaked, I think, like a few days prior to last week, but it looks great. Coming out on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC, and the game looks great. We're going to have a video on the VR showcase as well that took place last week, which is hopefully coming out either tonight or tomorrow. So make sure to check that out. And it kind of sums up the developments in the VR space. But why I'm talking about VR is Star Wars Squadrons is an excellent game that also has full VR support on PC and PlayStation. So definitely check that out. What do you think? I know you're a VR fiend. Are you excited about Star Wars Squadrons, and what headset should I buy? Because I know you're gonna give me a headache
at the end there. We're not sponsored by any of the headset manufacturers, so I can't really risk us getting sponsorship by naming one.
I mean, generally, I know.
Generally, no. It's that's going to be I would hope it's going to be a fantastic game. They've also confirmed it's not just yes, it's VR support, but it's also cross-play as well. So those of us playing in the futuristic world of virtual reality can play right alongside you, retro pancake people.
Yeah, the retro pancake people have a disadvantage, in my opinion. If you don't have a VR headset, then you're at a disadvantage because looking around and spatial awareness in these kind of flight sims is so important. It's paramount. When I used to play Battlefield 3, I used to primarily pilot the jets, and looking around was everything. In this game, it's going to be everything. And if someone can just tilt their head around and look around to see where the enemies are, they have a big advantage over you, presumably, assuming that the resolution on the headsets are decent. Because my Lenovo headset, I don't know. I think it's pretty dated. I don't know if it's actually going to work well.
And of course, assuming that they don't feel sick, which is also quite possible in a game like this.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, motion sickness gets me pretty bad on VR. But that's amazing. That's only one of the features, though, because like you mentioned, crossplay. That is, for me, massive. That means you can play with your mates on PlayStation or on PC or Xbox together and form squads and play together. And I love that EA have embraced this quite strongly. And they've done so with other games as well. Now they've announced that Apex Legends, one of my favorite games of this generation, will also have cross-play support rolled out in September, I think.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And a Switch version to go right alongside it, which is also kind of new for EA.
I have no idea how the Switch version is going to work of that game. I just can't see it running well. But you never know. Scaling tech has improved, if it's crossplay enabled, I'm grateful for that because I'll be playing on PC. And Switch players, I thank you in advance for all the kills. So, yeah, Star Wars Squadron is just amazing. There are a few things to talk about with this game. Not only is it crossplay, not only does it have VR support, not only does it have like flight stick support, it also has no microtransactions, which is something that's quite rare these days. A lot of people gave EA flack when the trailer released. They assumed that this is going to be riddled with microtransactions, and actually, a game like this could be, because there's so many avenues. If you watch the trailer there and wait for our video that's coming out on Monday to break down why this game is so good, but there are a ton of customization options. You can customize your HUD. You can customize, weapon loadout. There's like over 50 customizations for your ships. And a game like that would be set up for microtransactions, and EA gets a lot of flack for that. But they've confirmed that there are none, that you earn these customizations in-game. And that's a welcome move. And I love that. So Star Wars Squadrons is really come out of nowhere, but it could really be the surprise game. It just looks impressive, and I love so much about it. I love the fact that there's possibly no HUD as well. Your cockpit is the HUD. You don't have all these markers and screen. It's such a beautiful looking game. So for me, Star Wars Squadron coming out in October this year, so not that far off, could be an excellent game, and definitely want to tie you down up until next gen.
Yeah, October 2nd, isn't it, on all platforms?
Yeah, October the 2nd, assuming it doesn't get delayed. That's not bad. I can wait for that. But I'm really eager. And also, there's so many good things about this game. A lot of people thought this will just be a multiplayer only game, but it sports a really good campaign, apparently, that's quite comprehensive. Well, remains to be seen, but it looks really promising. It lets you pick both factions, the Rebels, and I'm not a massive Star Wars lore guy. If Safe heard me say this, he would cry. Star Wars fans are just throwing things at me right now. But the Rebels and the Alliance? Oh, no, I don't know what you tell me. You're a Star Wars fan.
Am I?
The Sith and the Jedi. It's not them. It's the
Empire. The
Empire
and the whatever New Republic. I can't remember. They did say when it's set, but I'm not that much of a Star Wars person myself.
I know when it's set. I don't know what that means to me. It's set before The Last Jedi. Is that Last Jedi move? I don't know. Well, whatever. I might be wrong. But
First Order, maybe. I don't know. There's lots of different bad guys.
Yeah.
Iterations of the Empire. It'll be one of those.
Yeah. Either way, what we're trying to say is you can control the good guys and the bad guys.
Include this in the highlights, guys.
The Star Wars fans will not be pleased. And one of the things revealed this week, and actually would have slotted in with our SSD talk earlier, was Horizon Zero Dawn. Guerrilla Games, who are the studio who's developing the game, have said, have come out and shared some more information on Horizon Forbidden West. I keep calling it Zero Dawn, but that's the first game. Horizon Forbidden West will be utilizing the SSD on the PlayStation 5 very well. What shocked me is the fact that the game apparently has virtually no loading screens, but it also has no loading when you fast travel. I can't even, in my mind, think about that actually working in games, because the game worlds are so massive that you teleport to another world without loading. When they say virtually no loading, that means that suggests to me that there is some loading. There might be some techniques to employ, because I can't see that. I can't imagine it, but I'd love to be proven wrong. But all I know is the SSD stack is impressive. So sorry, I was bringing it back to the SSD talk. Another game that actually came out of nowhere. This EA show came out of nowhere and had some really good surprise showings. But one game that has reared its head after it being requested time and time again over a period of 10 years is Skate 4, which is obviously a sequel to Skate 3. And the Skate series are regarded as some of the best skateboarding games out there, which is a big claim, obviously, with the likes of the seminal Tony Hawk's games. But Tony Hawk's games then have been perceived to dwindle in quality over the years that they got so many releases. Skate came back and trying to offer a alternative with much more realistic gameplay, but also the manner in which you control it, with the analog sticks. It just really resonated with skater fans and myself as well. I'm not a massive skater, but I love that game. So Skate 4 coming out, I can't wait to play that game, and I hope it leverages next-gen tech very well. Are you a massive Skate fan?
When you say it's got realistic gameplay, can you kind of squat and hold the skateboard as you roll down a hill? It's not very realistic for me. No, I don't skate or play the games.
I thought you were describing the first part of an ollie. That's what you do. You squat and roll down.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I did skate badly, very badly when I was younger. But yeah, you don't have to be a massive skater. And I think it's the kind of game that we could stream on here and like in a group of people, have fun, like free roam and play that game. So yeah, there are definitely skate fans out there. And I'm sure you've already heard of it. Tyler, the creator, if you don't know who he is a rapper. He just, it was such a good way of announcing the game. You're just like, come on, guys. It's been so long. You had a good show. This was live as the show was happening. It's time to announce Skate. And then the Skate Twitter that's been inactive for God knows how many years, like a decade, is like, don't worry, it's coming. And that's how they announced it. What a way to announce it. So yeah. So all in all, it's been a very interesting week for gaming, and next gen hasn't even begun. The highlights of this, there's so many. The Last of Us Part 2 is out. Gamers out there are enjoying it. Some maybe not so much, but yeah, that could be the game of the generation, depending on how Cyberpunk comes about. Cyberpunk, bad news as far as its delay is concerned, but it supports backwards compatibility as well. So there's forward compatibility and backwards compatibility thanks to smart delivery and the like. So that's news. We are hearing more news on Xbox Series S. We've seen so much from EA, and Star Wars Squadrons is the height of that for me particularly. And we're just hearing more and more next-gen talk. And soon we will hear more and more about the Xbox Series X. We saw them reveal a lot of information with their console and the not so great inside Xbox Game Show, which we live streamed as well, which you can see on our channel. But the big show is coming sometime in July. We haven't got a fixed date yet, but this is the show where they will showcase off their first party exclusives. So we're really looking forward to that. Any highlights of yours this week, Asa? That bounce?
Well, not necessarily a highlight as such, but Disintegration game that came out that we haven't mentioned at all yet. Are you familiar with it? From the creator, or one of the creators of Halo?
Yeah. I am. I was keeping an eye on it, but the reviews have been all over the place. What a
Yeah, I mean, I haven't played it yet. Reviews were a bit disappointing on that one. It's a mix of some shooting and some light RTS as well. Apparently, they haven't quite nailed. Not much more to say on it, but
I think the reviews I read, and it's actually on the front page of our website now, so you go on GameOnDaily.com. Check out and make sure you register as well, so you can join in on the discussions. The problem with Disintegration, I haven't played it, but is that it was supposed to meld the RTS real-time strategy elements along with first-person shooter components, and whilst it's a novel idea, it doesn't particularly do either one to a great degree. So it does it well, they're possible in terms of the quality of how they do it, but it's not been as great as it could be. And this promise, well, we haven't played it, so assuming the reviews are correct, then I'm sure the developers can then just take that on board and make sure that they fine-tune those respective elements of that game. To be completely honest, I had a sneaking suspicion when developers do this, they take on a lot of risk on board. So fair play to them. You know, you're trying to do RTS, you're trying to do two genres in one game, and it's quite bold. And you've got a hard task ahead of yourself. But it just sounds like it may have not hit the home run that it could have. But the potential's there. So I wish the developers luck, and hopefully, if they do ever do a sequel, if the reviews are correct, and there's a massive disclaimer if they are correct, then I hope they can smash it out and learn from those criticisms. But yeah, Disintegration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you have it. I've been informed that my pun was intended Star Wars, a game that will tie you down. No, I didn't. It wasn't a TIE fighter reference, Jim. But I do like the TIE fighters. They are my favorite kind of. I just love their design.
Yeah. Oh, what?
Kickboxers. Yeah. No, I don't. Another a very interesting development is the fact that. So we saw the PlayStation 5 reveal. We saw the reveal or the trailer for Spider-Man Miles Morales. Apparently, according to PlayStation Fanatic, a company has taken down Spider-Man due to a copyright claim. I mean, I'm going to check that now, but that's weird if that's true. Yeah, that's weird. You're a massive Spider-Man fan. You should know this.
No, I don't understand what you just said. Sorry, a company has taken down Spider-Man.
Let me reword that in a way that's... they've taken off due to a copyright claim. So apparently, the company, let me find out what it's called, GameLoft SE are making a copyright claim. I want to check this while we're...
Marvel? What's the claim?
I have no idea. It's on our website right now. I can't see the trailer. I know it's back up. So it was away for a while, and Sony's one's taken. Well, I don't know. I think it's against Sony because the Marvel have put it up, but Sony's one has been taken down due to a copyright claim, which is weird and funny at the same time because it's like a massive company. So it's not just us, YouTube, small content creators that face the copyright algorithms and the ban hams from YouTube. It's overly stringent policies. I hope YouTube are not listening. But it's also big companies as well. IP.
First thing their algorithm listens for, criticism of YouTube.
Oh, God. Damn. So it's all in all, very interesting week. Lots of news all from different sources. And yeah, so just to let you know, we are hoping to live stream every Saturday at 8 p.m. and we're going to mix it up with some gameplay. Not today, but what we want to do, the idea is for content creators who submit content on our website to join in, submit content, share it with us. Feel free to join in discussions. You can join us on the Discord chat as well. You want to talk games with us, feel free to do so. We'd love to have our viewers on on these discussions because it's great to get a breadth of different opinions from games. So feel free to join, and we'll hopefully can play some games together as well. And yeah, feel free to join in. This is the start of hopefully something very beautiful. And for those few of you who have joined us, I know we are a new channel. Thank you for joining us. We'll be doing coverage of all the main events. We'll do a live coverage, and we'll have a YouTube event, then a YouTube video summarizing these events. You'll have we have a YouTube video out tomorrow, which is a summary of what's happening with VR, which is very close and dear to Ace's heart. And that's out tomorrow. It might be out tonight, but no promises. Just look out for it tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, hit the like button, and tune in on GameOnDaily.com, which is your home for all gaming news. Make sure you register on there so you can submit your own content if you're a budding game journalist. We enable you to do so. We give you all the tools to make your voice heard. So yeah. Anything else, Asa? Do you want to talk to our fans? It's been an hour since we live streamed. I think Asa has died.
I'm just pretending. I'm still here. Sign-offs aren't really my thing, so if we are closing off the stream now, then thanks to everyone that has tuned in and watched a bit of that. Like I says, it will be a regular thing every Saturday. We'll build up an audience. We'll build up the interactivity. We'll have some interesting guests. We'll play some good games, and yeah, it should be fun.
Absolutely. We'll get game devs. We've had game devs before. Former developers developed Killzone. We've had a Ubisoft developer. We've had the guy who created Pokemon and the voice of Luigi. And we hope to carry that on with more developers. We'd also love to really have you guys on board as well. And we don't just say that. It's really nice. This GameOnDaily.com is a community-driven site. The content on that site is posted by content creators, and we really want to enable them to thrive. We'll drive traffic towards you, not steal traffic away from you. And if you're a budding game journalist, you don't have your own website, Game On Daily is the site for you. And really just want to make it feel like home, because there's a lot of negativity out there, and we want to embrace all the positive things. So thank you for joining in, and hopefully we will see you next week. But subscribe, because our video is out tomorrow on VR, and hopefully on Monday you'll see what makes Star Wars Squadrons so special. Thank you very much, and hope to see you next week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Ciao.